I'm getting married. I'm so excited. I can hardly believe it myself. It feels so unreal to say it out loud, but yep, it's happening. And as a matter of fact, the moment you're watching this video, I'm probably walking down the aisle to my soon-to-be husband. How crazy is that? It's a whole new chapter, and I got so many emotions swirling around my head, excitement, nerves, all of it. So I figured while I'm showing you how to make these gorgeous beaded bracelets today, I'd share with you what's been on my mind as I get ready for this big change. But don't worry, it's not all about wedding talk. I promise we'll focus on crafting these super fun, easy to make bracelets. And if you're new here for the DIY inspiration, stick around because this is a project anyone can do. But if you're curious about the wedding excitement and everything I'm feeling right now, well, you're in for a little life update too. So grab your beads, sit back, and let's create something special together while I spill all the details about planning a wedding, the things I'm most excited for, the things that confuse me, and the little things that are giving me butterflies. It's gonna be a fun one. As most of you know, I'm a minimalist at heart in most areas of my life and soon to be all areas. And that definitely applies to my jewelry collection too. I like to keep it simple, but also meaningful. Every day I wear my gold C-stack necklace from Amazon. I love this thing and it's lasted me longer than you can even imagine. It's my go-to and it pairs perfectly with just about everything. On my left hand, of course, I have my wedding ring. It still feels surreal to say that. I kind of stacked it up with our little wedding bands. It's a little bit more frou-frou for today's video. But on my right hand, you can catch me wearing my favorite Casio watch, which yes, is another Amazon find. It's classic, functional, and pretty much the only watch I need. But here's the one piece that has a bit of a fun backstory. This wooden beaded bracelet that I've been wearing forever. Believe it or not, I actually got it from a local smoothie shop in town. Shout out to Açaí Brazil. They have some of the best smoothie bowls you've ever tasted. Seriously, if you ever find yourself near one, do yourself a favor and stop by. They had this little display of fun bracelets and I just couldn't resist. Now, as much as I love this bracelet and the memories attached to it, I'm thinking that it might be time for a little bit of an upgrade. I want something that's a little bit more dainty, something that complements my other jewelry well. Plus, who knows, maybe I'll pass this wooden bracelet on to my husband. I still can't believe I get to say that. That is so wild. So today's video is all about creating a new beaded bracelet that feels more like me. Something minimalist, delicate, and just right for my style. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about materials for this bracelet. I'm using this elastic string, which is great because it stretches and makes it easy to wear and take off. I'm also using these colorful glass beads that I picked up from my local Michaels. I have two sets here. One is a topaz mix, which I think I'm gonna use first. If I remember correctly, Michaels has a return policy where if it's been open, you can't return it. So I think this is the one I want to use because if you look closely, the beads have a little bit more different designs and I think that'll add some nice texture to my jewelry. This one is just called smoked topaz, so they're all the same color. It's really pretty, but the smoked topaz is in the mix. So I'd rather just use the mix. I also picked up these collapsible eye needles, which I thought I might need to put the string in the bead, but honestly, it might not be necessary, so this will be on standby. And of course, I have a nice pair of scissors. You can really get as creative as you like with the colors and the patterns, and this bracelet's gonna be perfect for stacking. Last but certainly not least, I have my measuring tape, and I'm gonna start by measuring my wrist so I know how many beads I need. I don't want too much of a gap like this one has. I would like the beads to fully cover my wrist, and when I stretch it, that's when you can see the string just to put it on really quick. So let's measure my wrist. I'm getting right at 15 centimeters, so I'm gonna go with that. I don't know if I'm gonna wear it above my watch or below my watch, but either way, I wanna make sure that it fits perfectly. Just so I don't make a mess, I'm gonna put the beads inside of this Talenti top that I have. I'm measuring the string quite a bit longer than the 15 centimeters because I don't want to struggle when making the knot at the end. And just so I also make things easier, I'm going to put this binder clip in the end so I can just string the beads on and I don't have to worry about them falling off. If you can't tell, I'm kind of winging it as I go, but let's try and see how easy. Oh yeah, this is totally unnecessary. It goes on super simple. I don't think I'm going to have much of a pattern. I'm going to try not to repeat them, but if I do, it's not the end of the world. So while I'm threading these beads, let's dive into what's been happening in my life. I'm getting married. Honestly, it feels surreal to say that. I'm beyond excited, but I'll be real with you, I'm a little nervous. I mean, marriage is a huge change. It's one of those life moments that you prepare for, but at the same time, you know there are things coming that you just can't predict. And I've been thinking a lot about how life is gonna shift in ways I probably can't even imagine right now. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. My fiance and I met at church 6 years ago. And yeah, it's been a journey. He gets a lot of flack from people for taking so long to propose. Like 6 years, really? But here's the truth. 5 of those years were totally my fault. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I wasn't in a rush to get married, and honestly, I had my reasons. Marriage is such a big commitment, and I was terrified. I mean, let's be real. I'm a child of divorce. Divorce is all around me, and it scares the crap out of me. People can have the best of intentions and still end up hurting each other. And that's a really hard reality to shape. Who in their right mind would sign up for that kind of risk? Certainly not me. But things started to shift when we decided to take premarital counseling back in 2022. And let me tell you, counseling has helped, but it also opened up so many things I need to work on. And it wasn't just about us as a couple, it was about me as an individual. I had some deep fears and issues that I didn't even realize were holding me back. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm a terrible person, but marriage is about adjustments on both sides. You can't go into it thinking you don't have to change or grow. That's where so many people get tripped up. It's probably one of the reasons divorce rates are as high as they are. People don't realize how much work it takes and how much effort you have to put in to make it last. For me, the first premarital counseling class was eye-opening. It really helped me realize that I had a problem, which, as we all know, is the first step to fixing anything. It forced me to confront my fears and gave me practical tools to work through them. And honestly, I'm so thankful for that. It didn't magically make all my worries disappear, but it did give me a new perspective on what it means to be committed, to build a new life with someone, and to face those fears together. It's funny how something like beading a bracelet can feel kind of symbolic, right? One bead at a time, one step at a time, building something beautiful that's stronger together than apart. That's how I'm trying to approach this new phase of life. Marriage isn't about perfection, it's about growth, patience, and love. And trust me, I've got a lot more growing to do. After facing all my fears, both logical and, let's be honest, completely illogical, I finally reached the point where I'm so excited for this day. But let me tell you, planning a wedding, not my cup of tea. A massive shout out to my incredible wedding planner, because without him, I'd be a puddle of stress on the floor somewhere. And honestly, if we could do it all over again, and if we knew that our family wouldn't take it personally, we'd probably just elope, no joke. So here's the thing, people are interesting, to put it mildly. I had no idea how many opinions and expectations, and let's just call them quirks, that would come out of the woodworks. Some people expect a wedding invite like it's a golden ticket, even if you haven't spoke to them in years. And then there are those who RSVP yes, but then don't show up, which throws off all the seating charts and catering counts. And let's not even get into the unsolicited advice about what you have to include in your wedding, as if their suggestion will make or break the day. Honestly, one of the most frustrating parts was pouring my heart and soul into this beautiful, detailed wedding website, and I swear nobody even looked at it. Guys, it was fabulous, but no one bothered to check it out. I'm not bitter about it anymore, but yeah, I could have done without all that stress. That said, there is one upside to this whole wedding planning process. It's that it really taught me how to manage stress while still trying to enjoy the moment. At the end of the day, I keep reminding myself that it's not about the perfect day, it's about celebrating love and starting this brand new chapter of my life. Still, I won't lie, I'm excited for the day to come, but I'm also ready for it to be over at the same time. Initially, my fiance and I were all about having something super small and then throwing a massive vow renewal later, you know, after we've been married for a bit. But let me tell you, we scratched all of that. No, this is it. This wedding is the celebration, and anything we do from here on out, that's just gonna be for us. I realized that the wedding itself didn't really excite me, but the marriage, now that's a whole different story. I'm about to marry my best friend, and honestly, that's what gets me through the chaos of planning. There's so much I'm looking forward to in marriage. Too much to list in one video, honestly. But the idea of building a life together with my fiance is what excites me the most. We've got so many similarities, but a ton of differences. And I think that's what's going to make our life together both fun and challenging. Navigating those differences. It's about finding balance, and I'm actually looking forward to the journey. Okay, Christian alert, I'm about to talk about God, and I know a lot of y'all might not vibe with that, but here's the thing. It's so crazy how the Lord works in our relationship. It almost never makes sense at first, but when I I look at me and my fiance, even with our differences, I can see that we're a good match. I fully believe that God brought us together for a reason. But here's the key. We have to make sure that those differences don't drive us apart. And isn't that true for any relationship? So many disagreements happen because we think, if it were me, I'd do it this way. But people aren't us. That's the beautifully frustrating thing about relationships. Learning to give each other grace, understanding, and forgiveness. Because let's be real, that's the only way any relationship survives. And yes, I fully recognize the irony here. I'm over here talking about grace and forgiveness while at the same time sharing my wedding planning grievances. I get it, but hey, I never said I was perfect. No one is, right? It's all about growth and learning, and believe me, I've learned a lot through this wedding planning process. In the end though, it's all worth it because I'm about to start a new chapter with my best friend. And that's the part I'm most excited about. So whether you're planning a wedding, navigating a new relationship, or just trying to manage life's curveballs, remember, it's the love and grace we each give each other that really makes it all work. We're getting to the end of my bracelet making session, and honestly, this has been such a fun and meaningful video to create. I feel like we've covered a lot, and I really enjoyed sharing a little piece of my life with y'all. But before we wrap things up, I'd love to hear from you. Whether you're married, engaged, or just have some life wisdom, what's the best advice you give to someone entering marriage? Please drop it in the comments because I can use all the help I can get. Also, if you could, please keep us in your thoughts and prayers today. I've heard weddings are notorious for having things go wrong, so we're praying we get through this without too much chaos. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to keep my focus on the big picture, marrying the love of my life. And if you enjoyed this kind of video where we work on a project together and I share life updates, let me know by hitting the like button. I've been thinking about starting a little series where I work on different hobbies and just chat with you about what's going on in my world. It's kind of new territory for me because I'm usually a pretty private person, but I think it would be a great way to stay connected and maybe even help hold me accountable. You never know, a few months from now, one of you might comment, hey, remember those bracelets you made and talked about forgiveness in marriage? How's that going? And honestly, I'm probably gonna need that reminder. Marriage is going to be a journey, and I'm sure there'll be ups and downs, but I'm excited to embrace it all. Anyway, this is another fun project in the books, and trust me, I've got more crochet and knitting projects coming your way. So if you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and stick around for more crafty fun and some life chats along the way. I've got some exciting things planned, and I'd love to have you join me for the ride. That's it for today. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Hello, so I'm back. It's been about a week, and here are my two bracelets. Let me give you a little bit of a breakdown of what I actually did because I kind of rushed through that a bit. So I made two bracelets. One's like a wraparound bracelet, so I wrap it around twice, kind of put it on and put it on again. And the other one just fits around my wrist perfectly one time. I love both of them. So in terms of securing them, I just tied a knot like 5 or 6 times. But once I tied the knot, a regular knot, nothing special, I put a dab of crazy glue. Now, as you can see, it might be an eyesore to some people. I personally don't mind how this looks. It does show up on both bracelets. You can, you know, pretty clearly see it. There might be some crazy glue that dries clear, but this doesn't really bother me. Quite frankly, when I have both the bracelets on, yeah, you can see it. It's not like it's invisible or anything, but it's also not just totally noticeable to me. I do try to keep it on the underside though, so it's just not as noticeable. Depending on how picky you are, that's something just to keep in mind. I love how the wraparound one works. As we measured before, my wrist was 15 centimeters, so this has 15 centimeters worth of beads, and this one has about 31 centimeters worth of beads, so a little bit more than double of the 15 centimeters. I love how they turned out. This is how many beads I have left from that topaz mix, so I have quite a few. Actually, if either one of these breaks, I could probably remake these two bracelets with this amount of beads, so it's a pretty good amount of beads. You could get this and make 2 bracelets for you and your friend. I have tons of string left. I don't know if you can really clearly see that, but quite a bit of string left. I think the 0.5 worked perfectly. I think anything thicker either would not fit in the bead or it would make the knot not as secure. And I think anything too much smaller, I don't know, it's just not necessary. But these beads, another thing to know, are 6-0 beads. I don't know exactly what that means, but I know that's the size of the bead. So just if you want to pick this one up, it's a 6-0. I think that is everything to share on these bracelets. I've loved them all week long. They've been working pretty well for me. Can't wait to see how y'all like it. I'm still not married yet. I'm getting married this weekend. So like I said, keep me in your prayers and give me any advice in the comments below. Till next time, see you in my next video. Bye.